How's it going? Back. We're talking about the stainless. I'm probably going to make a lot of these videos with the stainless hardware because it takes a long time. In my past couple videos, you guys seen the steering box had a lot of stainless, but there was a lot of parts next to all that stuff. And before I can get putting all the polished stainless when I'm done with it back onto the frame, I got to figure out some suspension issues, steering, drive shaft, you know, any powertrain issues like that. I got to figure out because I don't know, you know, what bolts go to this. Because when I took everything apart, it had rivets, old nasty rusty bolts. I had to cut all things off. So it's basically just starting from scratch. But at the same time, when I'm polishing the stainless, I paint things and sandblast things to get, and I do all that myself. I do every bit of it 100%, right down to the last nut and bolt. So at the same time I'm polishing nuts and bolts, the stainless gets really hot. That's one of the issues that people don't do it, because it gets really hot. It's hard to work with. You'll burn your hands most of the time. 9 out of 10 times you'll burn your hand. You have to wear gloves most of the time. So at the same time I'm letting these things cool down, because it takes a little while to cool down. And if you do this, wear some gloves and some eye protection, because it's nasty. But man, the reward in the end is just one of a kind. It's amazing. So while I'm letting them things cool down, I have to go and do some other stuff, button that stuff up. So I basically the past couple of days I've been working on this this January and stuff like that. I just started working on the front suspension, original 1949 springs, leaf springs, completely rebuilt, every single one of them. You can see the one laying down there in the front of the floor. New bushings, new shackles. I made every shackle myself. Every leaf spring retainer bolt is stainless, painted black, so they blend in. People think that's not stainless. That's all stainless hardware. I have a parts bender. I make every single one of those retainers myself. Aftermarket bushings. That's a brand new spring, like an NOS part, but it's an original 49 spring with all brand new parts and externals, completely painted. So that's what I'm working on at the same time, letting the stainless cool down when I'm done grinding it before I polish it, because it gets too damn hot. So I have to do this stuff too. And this is the stuff that you've seen on the bench next to the steering box. This is a center carry bearing for your twin drive shaft, because this is like a 16-foot, 3/4 1-ton pickup truck. You know, it's the extended bed, so it had a twin drive shaft. So you have to have a center carry bearing, your yoke, and these are your front shackles, your swing hanger they call it, for the front springs. And these are original, but they've been sandblasted, double dipped, and repainted. And then I mean double dipped by the like a epoxy coating. And these are all new bushing shafts, a greasable fitting in each one. It's very expensive, about $140 just for 6 of them. Really sucks. I had a guy. I usually make them myself, but at the same time I was picking these little guys up here at a local spring shop. They had some U-bolts on the shelf, so I got a set of those. I didn't have to bend them. It didn't cost me but another $1 to make them. So I just had to buy those, and that was it. These are your miscellaneous parts. These are your front hangers. These bolt on with stainless hardware, of course all polished. And originally that was riveted in. And let me tell you, I went through 3 drill bits and numerous grinding wheels to get those rivets off. They do not come off easy. When Henry Ford was designing and building those rivets, he knew the hell he was doing. But these are epoxy coated fuel and brake lines. That's what you get them at the regular hardware store. I was going to buy stainless ones, didn't want to, because I figured I was painting the springs and all the drive components black, and the front sway bar and things like that black, I figured, you know what, let me have some accents on the frame. And the only thing that's black usually is your bushings, your urethane style grommets, things like that. So I figured, you know what, I'll get some epoxy coated fuel and brake lines and I'm going to paint these black. So they blend in. It's going to look really nice, like a little accent. But again, all of the hardware to mount those to the frame, polished button head stainless bolts. Crazy stuff. These are my front Monroe shocks, aftermarket. Not a big deal. But I painted those black. I was going to buy some chrome ones. For the money they get for chrome and the shit rusts in a couple weeks anyways, I'll just get regular Monroe shocks and just paint them black. It's a lot easier. People will understand why I'm doing that way. But a lot of parts and pieces, that's what I'm trying to figure out. I have to get this stuff painted while I'm polishing these bolts because, I want to go put these things on and that stuff ain't dry, so then I wait weeks or days because, the weather around here is crappy in Connecticut. So let's go down here and take a look where else I'm going. These are my drive shafts. Don't mind my wife. She has to walk around my bench full of knickknacks and paint equipment. Because I do every bit of my own paint work. I did go to school for it for a little while. This is my drive shaft. This is where the front yoke goes on. And this yoke right here will connect to the twin telescoping drive shaft that connects to the rear end. It's one of a kind. You're talking 1949. And they still do that today. But today's drive shaft, they're not this thin. The wall on these tubes are a lot thicker than today's metals because today's metals are thinner and they're stronger. So the metal on these were a lot thicker. They weren't as strong. So they made it was kind of strange. I'm kind of wary about how these things are going to react with that horsepower on that engine, that flathead 6. Because originally that 6-cylinder came with a 90, it was 90 horsepower, and I'm turbocharging it, so you're talking 300. But we're going to put those. That's an experiment. After I get those painted, we're going to throw that on there, and we'll run that for a little while. But that's some of the pieces that I have to paint at the same time. I got to start the stainless hardware on that. The U-bolts are all cap nuts and stuff like that. I don't want any exposed thread. So here's the other front spring. This one, and you're gonna find that, yes sir, the infamous rattle can, shakedown, spray bomb, whatever you people want to call it, Rust-Oleum enamel is superior when it comes to springs, shackles, and mounts and things like that. This stuff takes a rock, it doesn't chip off. It's amazing. Again, it's a spring. These things are always going to be moving, so that's why I use enamel. But this is still wet. All stainless hardware, painted over with black. So I'm waiting for that to be dried, and that's it. And then we're going to get back to, you see other pieces and stuff. We're going to talk about that in other videos. There's other things in the shop that, are under wrap right now until I'm ready to go with that stuff. But well, that's it. We're going to get back to that. So I'll let you guys loose, and I'm going to get back to stainless hardware. Thanks a lot.